जानते हैं कि हमने आपके लिए एक सीरीज प्लान किया है। जी हाँ, 5 दिनों का ये सीरीज जो आज से शुरू होकर शुक्रवार तक चलेगा, यानी मंडे टू फ्राइडे। और उसमें हम अलग-अलग डांस फॉर्म से आपको रूबरू कराएंगे, अलग-अलग आर्टिस्ट से आपको रूबरू कराएंगे और इस सीरीज का नाम है नटराज। तो let's start with the first episode of the series, and today we have Vinod Bachan with us. He comes from Odyssey dance form, and being the senior disciple of Guru Ranjana Gohar, he has presented with her on many stages in India and abroad. So, Vinod, welcome you to the show.
Namaste, and thank you for having me.
Vinod, would you mind looking into the camera of the phone? And
yes.
Yes. So, how is it to be a dancer, to be a male dancer?
That's a very, I would say, a difficult question, but I'll try my best to answer it. As a like dance has no gender itself. We identify with the gender because we are born biologically either male or female, or as we now know, intersex as well. But dance itself has no gender. And when you go on stage, you are not who you are. You are transformed into that character you are portraying at the moment. That is who you become. And that is what dance is. That's my belief. And seeing that we are labeled as male dancers, it's something which is it's broad in a way where initially in Odyssey, all the gurus or those who formulated what we know as Odyssey today, they all were male dancers. And according to our history, after a while, when they were busy with creating and putting this style together and formulating it, it just so happened that majority of their disciples were women. So Odyssey started growing with the image of, because it's also very Lasya oriented, which is very graceful and very supple. And when it was brought into the world, the identity of Odyssey being soft and supple went with the female gender. Even though men were practicing it, it was not as huge in number as it is now. Now we have a lot of male dancers taking Odyssey as a profession, but there are certain hurdles that we still have to face. And as a male dancer, we are trying our best to get there. But like I said, dance doesn't really know a gender. It doesn't know color. It doesn't know caste or creed. You are a dancer who has to encompass all the characters of your story.
There are many popular street dancers representing various dance forms have female dancers basically. So anyway, you belong to not India, you belong to Trinidad and Tobago, and a place which is what is the theme there about dance? I want you to talk to the world about it. Like it was like how it is in India, where male dancers are very well accepted. It was a similar situation there.
So the dance scenario in Trinidad is very, very different. So in Trinidad, as we know, well, for those of you who don't know, I'll just say very quickly, the Indian diaspora in Trinidad is more than, it's actually close to 40%. And that is because the Britishers, when African slavery had ended, they needed a workforce large enough to work in the sugarcane plantations. And that's how Indians were taken from India and taken to not just Trinidad, but to other islands of the Caribbean and South America and as far as Central America. So a lot of Bihari culture and UP culture was taken to Trinidad. So when you go there, you see a lot of Bhojpuri folk, and it's really, really strong still. But dance, however, never got the focus. It was always the music and the singing. Um, Later on in the years, as things developed and independence came, and the relationships between India and Trinidad, they started bridging the gap. Um, there is ICCR had set up a cultural center there, and there was a link between Trinidad government and Indian government in New Delhi, and they were sending dancers to learn Indian classical dance. So in Trinidad, we have four classical styles out of the eight. We have Odissi, Bharatanatyam, Kathak, and Kuchipudi, and these were prevalent, and but they didn't come maybe until like the late 70s, early 80s. So the style of dancing in Trinidad was very folkish and very different because it's a multicultural, multi-ethnicity country. So you have African folk mixed with Indian folk mixed with European dancing, and all mixed together, and a form of dance has evolved there. So it's only in recent years that classical dance has gained quite a bit of popularity in Trinidad. However, even in my time and the time what it is now, people don't see it as a career. It's more of a just an extracurricular activity, or something you just do until you get married, before you get married and settle down with a family. So that's what it is in Trinidad. When it comes, there are very few people who are taking it seriously, but I can count them on my fingers. So the situation is very different there when it comes to classical dance.
What was the response when people went to decided to take up dancing?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
The response of family and friends and people around you when you decided to learn that?
Oh, so when I was young, I always had a liking for classical dance, um, because I would see it on the TV. There were local programmings showcasing it, and my mom had enrolled me in Indian Hindustani vocal because she was also learning, and there used to be classes as well. So I would just see, and I would be in the music class, and my mind is outside in the dance class. And boys dancing was a big no, no, at that time. And I come from a very strict Arya Samaj family on my dad's side. And, boys were supposed to learn tabla and harmonium and vocal, and girls were supposed to dance. So initially, like when I was really young, when I was 9 and 10, that was a big no from my parents. But inside, when they were not home, and these dances would come on TV, especially when Odissi had come on in the cultural program, whatever I saw, I would try to imitate, because it was so inherent in me to dance. However, when I started high school, I learned Kuchipudi undercover because Odissi. There were two teachers of Odissi. One was she she was born and brought up in Delhi, but moved to Trinidad because she got married to someone who is also a Kathak dancer, studied in Kathak Indra, and they opened a theatre there, but it was really far from my home. And the second Odissi dancer didn't allow boys at the time. So I really wanted to dance, and I was in high school and I had the opportunity. So I learned Kuchipudi for about 7 years. But all this was undercover because my family would not have accepted it. Absolutely not. Because good Indian boys are supposed to either be engineers and doctors and lawyers, not dancers.
So when you came to India, you first became Odisha, and then you came to Delhi. So, what is the response of people now here when you are living in a society with people around you, your neighbors? What do they think? How do they respond when they come to know that you are a dancer by profession?
Um, there's a little change per se in the way people see males as classical dancers, but it's very little growth. Um, the minute you say you're a classical dancer, they think, oh, he's a girl. But that's not what it is. There's so much that entails to make a classical dancer, and people take it for granted that the effort and energy that a guy goes into, especially like a style like Odissi, where it's very soft and graceful and supple, and people think, oh yes, you're doing Odissi, so it's so soft. Why you chose that style? You could have done Bharatanatyam or Kathak or Kuchipudi, continued with Kuchipudi. Why you chose this feminine form? Odissi is supposed to be for female. And even in the progress that society has made, people still have this picture in their mind when they see Odissi dance, it's for a girl. My family, they have grown to support. So once my family is supporting me, then I don't need anything else. Then I can face society. And I can't speak for other styles per se, but when I talk to dancers who are in my category of age-wise, little bit older and younger than me, especially in Odissi field, they all have this same issue that us as male dancers are not being taken seriously. We have reached some improvement in terms of getting performances as male dancers, but it's not there. It's not where it's supposed to be. Like I once said, for us, especially male dancers, for us to reach the level as being seen as equal to female dancers, people need to open their mind about what dance is. Not just classical dance per se, because even guys who do salsa or they do ballet, they all have the same issue as a male dancer, that these are all feminine forms, and we need to remove the stigma in the mind that dance is a feminine thing. Dance is for everyone, and my belief is dance is not just going on stage. Every little thing that you do is dance. Like for instance, I join my guru a lot when she does Smikmeke workshops, and she always opens her talks by saying dance is with the air we breathe. Our heartbeat is giving up a tal, and that tal is also part of dance. So each and everything of our life is related to dance. So why can't we as a society accept males as dancers? We need to get this stigma out of the mind. This is for men and this is for women. No, it's not. Because dance at the end of the day is an experience.
So how has been the struggle?
Okay, so the struggle continues. It's never ending, and even seniors also. It's always a struggle, because I don't use the word struggle, because struggle means you're always going to be in fighting. In terms of the position that I'm in, it's always an evolution, and there's always growth, and there's always experiences and things to learn when you're in any field, no matter what it is. In relation to what the question you asked, and the person who commented about Guru Kelutran Mahapatra and male dancers feeling that they are not getting limelight. See, Kelu sir was an immaculate master of the art,
Yeah.
and they are the ones who paved the way. And I'm not saying that male dancers are not getting opportunities. We are. It is just that in the reality of it, when you ask a general public or you ask society about Odissi, yes, they'll call the guru's name, but when you look at the current situation, you hardly see men. I mean, now they're coming out, but it's a struggle. And recently I had a talk with a few young budding dancers from Odisha, and which is leading to what you are asking me. There's a lot of challenge for stage performances, and we've all faced it. Like we will apply for a festival, and they will say, "You guys are very good dancers, but we would prefer a female."
Yes, that's what I was asking about. Does the struggle become more when it comes to you being a male dancer?
Um, it's everybody has struggles. For males, it is. I can only speak for Odyssey. I can't speak for other styles because I interact with other Odyssey dancers and other young male dancers and seniors in Odyssey, and they all have this same problem that when we apply for festivals, usually this is the response: "You guys are good dancers, but we prefer a female," and it's okay. That's their choice. But we also should be given the same encouragement because if you look at it, the gurus were men also. The four pillars of Odyssey dance, all were men.
And it is also all
So
an art form further to the next generation. It is about promoting a different kind of art form. There's nothing about
correct,
a male or a female.
correct, correct. So it's like in feminism, feminism. It's you want equality, right? And for male dancers, it's the same. We just want the same equality. We don't want to be better than girls and get more opportunity than girls. It should be equal, and it's only because at the factor of how Odyssey evolved. It evolved in a different way, and when Kelu Babu Guruji was traveling, he was with Sanjuta Panigrahi. When Mayadhar Rao ji was,
Yeah.
I have a little guest here. When Mayadhar Rao ji was creating his work, he also had.
You
Um,
can give your little cap to the audience. How cute is that?
she's very inquisitive.
Okay.
uh, Mayadhar ji, he had Aloka Panikar, and then he had many other female students at the time also. And it's the same for the other gurus as well. But so at that time, when the world saw Odyssey, that's what they were seeing. They were seeing that. So people have it in their minds. It's not that they don't recognize that male Odyssey dancers are there, but that bias is still there. And until you are in the field, you can understand. See, quoting, it's very easy to talk about the pillars of Odyssey dance. They have made their legacy. Now we have to try to reach that level. And we can only reach it if we are given the opportunities just as equally as the others. And in Odisha, there's a large number of boys taking up Odyssey as a career because after Gotipoa, so usually that's how Odyssey, one of the birth of Odyssey stems from is Gotipoa. And a lot of boys, when they finish Gotipoa, the easiest thing for them to do is to move to Odyssey. So we have a large number of males taking up Odyssey dance. And we also want to encourage them as performers. I mean, not everybody will be a performer, but for those who have the desire, if they are not given opportunities, then, it becomes a struggle for them. And so that's like the major thing in terms of struggling for us is the equality when it comes to the stage. And for people to recognize that. Another thing also, people think that Odyssey is very easy because we have graceful, lyrical, soft movements. But what people don't realize is also, even though we are doing soft and supple, graceful movements, our footwork is on all the time. Either we are sitting in chalk and tribangi, very rare we stand straight. So it's a lot of strength, core strength, and the strength of the legs is also required. So it's not that Odyssey is just soft. It is soft, but it's also giving you that firmness. So yes, Odyssey has its birth in last year, but it's also having aspects of Tandav, which is seen in our footwork. And you can see it, especially a classical example of Tandav aspects in Odyssey is a Pallavi. So a Pallavi starts slow and supple and it rises and it ends in a crescendo. So there you see this. So people need to change the mindset also that Odyssey is just only for women and that men can also do it and do it well. And also Odyssey is not just a supple style and it's boring. People they say Odyssey is boring because it's graceful. No, there's a lot in the grace. There's also a lot of rigorous movements. So it's a combination of both. So this is the struggle that we have to deal with as men. We always have to keep pushing the barrier in that sense.
So when you all meet the male dancers, what is the usual talk?
Uh, so after formalities are over, the first thing that comes, it's they say, oh my god, it's so hard to get shows. Every time I apply, we are not getting any performances. It's so tough as a male dancer. This is actually the conversation. Like when I travel with recently, I traveled to Jaipur before the lockdown in
Yeah.
March with Guruji, and there were a lot of. It was a huge festival. They were celebrating. Um, it was for not Kalidas. I'm sorry, I'm saying the wrong thing. It was a Kabir celebration, and there I met few dancers, male dancers from Kathak style and Kuchipudi, and we all were sitting and chatting in dinner. And this was the conversation. And
Yeah.
then when I came back Delhi and I started talking to Odissi dancers from Bhubaneswar, this also was the conversation about landing shows, and it's very difficult. And even though there are a lot of shows and a lot of shows that are paying, also one of the thing is that there's a lot of lobbying that goes into landing a show,
Yeah.
and many of us don't have that desire to lobby and to, like they say, apply makhan to land a show. We want to land a show based on our merit and based on our good work.
So
We don't have to go that
you need
itna zyada extra mile.
to create a space as a good dancer and create a way for yourself. You need to know the art of psychology as well. Art of watering is important.
Yes, yeah, and so what happens is now, like when it comes to your art, like knowing your art, and we have a lot of dancers who spend maximum 6 months learning, and they're ready to land on stage. And they are the ones who are going in the extra mile, with half knowledge, half baked ideologies of dance, half baked uh, technique, and they're going on stage. And then they also bring to life the pay and perform culture. So many of them are also, because they're so thirsty and hungry for stage, they are willing to pay anything and any amount to perform on stage. So it's creating a lot of mucky waters and dangerous waters for people to tread, because we as dancers want to be recognized for our good work. And
Yeah.
we should, people should call you and say, oh, wow, I want this person to dance because when I saw them performing this particular item, I felt as if I saw Shiva on stage, or that Pallavi was so mesmerizing. That is the impact that you want. You don't want to just go and perform and your performance is based because you've paid for it or you've applied and the organizers called you just because he's being nice to you in that sense. Your job is that you leave that impact with the organizer, that he calls you another time.
So, Kevin, can we see a glimpse of a small piece of Abhinaya so that viewers also know? Yeah, a small piece now, and then we can continue with our conversation.
Okay. So I'll do a small excerpt from the Geet Govind. Uh, it's very common. It's Lalit Lavanglata. And it's a choreography of legendary Guru Mayada Raut. And I'll just do a small piece of this. It's in Rag Basant, Tal Jampa, and Ek Tali. And for many of you out there who don't know who Guru Mayada Raut is, he's one of the pillars of Odissi dance, and he has been credited for creating and adding Sanchari Bhav into Odissi dance. And he's also well known for his hastamudras and notations of the dance itself. And after this, I will share a little bit more of him because our aim at Utsav and my ma'am's mission is to make sure that his work is brought out to the limelight. So if you permit me, then we can talk about him. So I will present Lalit Lavanglata.
वसन्ते वासन्ते कुसुमा सुकुमारे रवयवै भ्रमन्तिं कान्तारे बहुविहित कृष्णानुशरणम् अमन्दं कन्दर्प ज्वर जनित चिन्ता कुलतया वलद्बाधा राधाम् सरस इदम् उच्चे सहचरी ललिता लवंग नकापरिशीलन कोमल मलय समीरे ललिता लवंग नकापरिशीलन कोमल मलय समीरे मधुकरानिकरा करम्बिता कोकिला मधुकरानिकरा करम्बिता कोकिला पूजित कुञ्ज कुटीरे ललिता लवंग नकापरिशीलन कोमल मलय समीरे तागनता
So, Lata,
Very, very nice.
thank you.
You need to set yourself in the frame, David. You are going out of the frame. You need to set yourself in the frame properly. You need, yeah,
Sorry, I didn't get the last few words you said.
to set yourself in the frame properly. The frame, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, Kevin, कभी दिमाग में आया, sometimes ever you felt कि this is the wrong decision. I should have created a parallel career for myself. I should have worked on something else. कभी ऐसा कुछ लगता है कि, have you ever felt depressed? Have you ever felt, no, this is the wrong decision. Why did I choose to do this?
So I was in college when I wasn't. I unluckily when my other friends in dance world, they all started at an early age. I didn't have that opportunity. I started in my 20s, like I was 21 when I started it as a career. And I left college. I was doing computer science and management, and I left that and I came all the way to Bhubaneswar. And it was really tough because it's an entire different culture. I mean, I visited Mumbai and Bangalore and all before, but going to Odisha was an entire different experience. And both when I lived both Odisha and when I shifted to Delhi, I had huge, terrible times where I thought, why I am, what am I doing? Why am I in this field? Because there's a lot of negativity in dance also. There's a lot of nepotism, and there's a lot of discrimination and many other things that you find in every sector of life. And sorry?
It is exists in every industry. Every industry.
Yes,
Every industry
yes,
goes.
every industry. And I've faced it. I've faced many discrimination situations based on my skin color. And like recently, last in 2000, I did in 2019, which was last year, I did a show called Nayaka Ki Manobhav. And the show was really successful, and I had wonderful reviews. And it was, a lot of seniors had come and they really enjoyed the performance. And at the end of the show, one senior dancer came to me, very senior, and she said, "Beta, aapka dance theek hai, but you should also apply makeup in your hands because your hands are very dark. Because I've seen you outside of makeup and your skin is dark. You should always look fair on stage." And it made me feel really hurt because, it's like and whatever I presented on stage and my performance, it didn't matter. It, yeah. But, it was the last comment before I left the auditorium. So it resonated with me for a few days. And then I thought, okay, no, so I have faced many things like these also, and many hard situations in Bhubaneswar. And it was tough. And I thought, okay, I really need to quit. I should go back home and, make something else there. But then I remember, because my mom is locked on, so, she sacrificed immensely for me before I got ICCR scholarship. My rent, my food, my whatever it is, my mom sacrificed. And then when my dad started coming on board, then he also was making that extra sacrifice. And I thought, okay, no, I can't let their sacrifice go to waste. And I persevered and I pushed through it. And the discrimination I faced and these bad experiences that I have faced, I use it now. So when people come and they talk about these things, I share my experience with them and we try to overcome situations together. And there's one huge plus point which is happening in my generation and generation after me. All this backbiting and fighting and discrimination, we are trying to bridge the gap. So, we try to work together, we try to help each other, lift each other up. Even though we all are competing for the same prize and the same stage and the same performances, at the end of the day, it's all about our well-being and who we are as human beings. Dance, yes, it is important, but who we are as human beings matter first. And it's amazing to see the connection and the kind of reach our generation has made to, of course, there are bad apples in every basket. We also have bad apples, but it's such a beautiful change that is coming. And if we don't make the change now, then those who come after us, what will they have? They'll have nothing. So, yes, we have all felt, and so many of us are still feeling like that, but we are trying to overcome it. And it's the only way the art will survive, because as you know, classical dance itself is facing a really bad time in this country right now. Because you look at
so during lockdown.
Sorry.
So I was saying that during lockdown and those roles and things have further affected that. It must be a job.
Very much so. What has happened is, in the lockdown, many young dancers are feeling really disoriented, as in they don't know what is happening in the future. Already it is difficult for them to land opportunities of a program and getting their work out there. Now it has become even worse because nothing is happening really. I mean, online shows are happening, but it's not that vast and it's not that wide, and the audience is the same audience that our dance pair. So a lot of not just dancers but theater artists and musicians and painters and unbeknownst. Sorry.
So I think everyone is asking for cafe. So anyhow,
Yeah, and just I'll share one thing. No, unbeknownst to us, because for us dancers is like nothing. In it's media, it's like nothing right now. Um, a lot of young dancers have been committing suicide, and it's not coming out in the news. Just recently, a young girl in Assam, she committed suicide. She's a theatre artist because she was so unsure of what her future is, and by the time people started reaching out to her, it was already too late. So this is the situation that we are facing, because we as dancers are not taken that, not just dancers but artists at large are not taken that seriously in society at the moment, especially when it comes to mental health. We really need to take care of each other at this particular time.
yes, definitely. So anyways, the one question I have just is that you are looking at
Kuchipudi, I love Kuchipudi, no doubt. There's something about Kuchipudi that I love very much, but it wasn't doing it for me. Even though I learned it for 7 years, is not a small matter of time. But it's, few dancers, when you ask them why you chose a style, many people can't answer. Many people say because of the stylization of it, the way it is presented on stage. But my angle is very different. Odissi music is something that I don't know. I really can't tell you. I'm talking to you right now about Odissi music and my pulse is raising. When I knew about Odissi and I knew about it, but there's a difference with watching it on TV and recorded music and listening to it live. And in 2009 was the first time I heard the beat of the Mardal live. And for an entire week, I couldn't sleep. I was so uneasy, and I'm sure my mom must have thought I was mad. And yeah. So music is the one that transported me into taking up Odissi as a dance, as my career, my passion. And 2009 was the game changer for me, because also I never knew that you can make Odissi a career or classical dance a career. I just thought, again, it's extracurricular activity, because we didn't have that exposure to the knowledge of making it a career. And there was one dancer from Pondicherry, Odissi, her name is Anita Das, and she came and she had a performance and a workshop. And then I had so much questions to ask, because when she started telling us this, I just kept asking questions. And then eventually after, she explained about making it a career, and that's how I knew that you can do Odissi as a career. Otherwise, I had no knowledge, no knowledge at all about Odissi as a career. I just thought it was just a hobby.
So I believe after this show, people would know that this is also a career option. So still many people are reluctant to take that career opportunity. They think they can learn it as a hobby. After you Rachna was between parents and artists, I think your life is transformed. Your entrepreneurship what kind of output, what kind of timing. How did it transform?
So I'll just tell you a little bit of how I met her, because my transformation started from a phone call. So I was in Bhubaneswar, and I was learning dance, but I was not happy per se. Something was missing, and then I realized I needed a guru. I only had a teacher, and because at that time, I was just learning the dance and how to put the hands and where to put the hands and steppings and basics and all whatnot, but not in-depth knowledge, and I felt it was missing because when I decided to make this my career, I was so hungry to learn each and everything. So I was uneasy, and I have a really good friend. His name is Simar. He's a Bharatanatyam dancer, and he studies in Kalakshetra. So I was sharing with him, and he said, "Okay, let's look together." And when we were looking, we came across ma'am's profile, and when he sent it to me, and I checked, and I saw the body of work, it was so vast. She's a filmmaker. She produces movies. She was a choreographer, documentaries. She wrote a book. I was like, wow, this is where I should be. And I spoke to her. But unfortunately, that time I had gotten into an accident. So I had a black eye, dislocated shoulder, fractured knee, and ankle.
You met her in
So, sorry?
You met her with that black eye and fractured shoulder?
No, we only spoke on the phone. This is all phone conversations by the time. So I had to go home because I needed to recover. So I spoke to her on the phone, and she said, I will take you under my wing, but I need to meet you first. And I was like, oh my God, but I have to go home because I'm injured. So I went home, and we kept in contact via email. Nothing detailed per se, because her thing was, I need to meet the person and meet you in person. So I said, oh my God, what if I meet her and she rejects me right away? So I took the risk again. And August 25th was when I landed at her house, August 25th, 2013. And I was in a bad shape. I was depressed. I was sad. I was thinking, I made such a big change in my life with Odyssey, and it's not meeting the expectations I had. And she read everything in my face, and she gave me a stern talking, and she said, you are going to get out of this now. You've sacrificed so much to dance, and you're going to dance. Leave whatever bad experiences you have and focus on your dance, focus on your art. This is why I wanted to meet you, because I needed to tell you this. You've come under my wing. I'll teach you everything that I know, but I need your dedication and I need your loyalty. She was very stern. But I still was in a shell because I'm new to Delhi, and Delhi was a new city for me. And I was learning, I was going to class, and she was unsure what's wrong with this guy. He's just coming and sitting there. So she said, okay, I'll take you on a Swikmeke workshop with me. So I said, yes. Immediately I said yes. So we had a 2-week tour of Rajasthan. And on the first night, when we landed in Pilani, and we did the biggest show of my Swikmeke tour at that time was BITS. It was in BITS Pilani, and everybody kept saying, oh my God, you performed in BITS. It's such a big opportunity. So in the night, she spoke to me and she said, what's your purpose? Why you want to learn Odissi? What is the reason? So I shared everything with her, and she told me that I will guide you. I will be with you each and every step of the way. And I just need your dedication and loyalty towards this art, towards taking my Guruji's work forward, and to doing my work to the best of your ability.
Brilliant.
And what I can tell you is she has lived up to it 100%. 100%. And I've not seen it with me, I've seen it with other students also. She's so dedicated. She's always thinking the next step of what we should do to evolve in our career, what we should do to make our work evolve, make our dance reach a better, capacity to the audience out there. She herself is a thinker. See, unlike other gurus, my guru was not belonging to a legacy's background. She had to work really hard to make a name for herself. And so she's coming with that knowledge, and she's really made a landmark for herself. So it's a blessing for me to learn, and I really value each and everything that she does for me. And, just before I came here, I was at her house and I was telling her about, this interview and all. And she always, says, do your best. I know you speak well, but do your best. And always remember that Jagannath is with you. That's the thing, Jagannath is always with you. And always remember to honor Guru Mayadhar out, because he's the torchbearer that gave her what she has, and she is giving it to us.
Just too good. Very, very good. Very good, Kevin. बहुत सुंदर, बहुत सुंदर. So thank you, Kevin. We
Thank you
really,
so much.
you really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being on the show today with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Take care. Bye.
Take care.
So let me tell the viewers about the artist tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Dr. Sridhar Vasudevan, Bharat